So it's 2 a.m. and I've thought of a new way to explain how kampfer works that should also explain the purpose of core gameplay functions more clearly than any explanation that has ever come before. I'm going to start off with just the unit information page though, because some people don't actually know that the shotgun gives you fuel based on the amount of damage you deal with it. It does not give you fuel for hitting shields, but it does give you fuel for health and armor and things like that. The next thing you'll probably notice on kampfer is that the longer you sprint, the flatter he gets to the floor. But this works in a very specific way. You'll see that if I sprint down to the halfway point on my gauge, that's about where I'm fully flat. But if I dash cancel into sprint, somehow I still get flat at the halfway point, even though I spent way less time sprinting. And that is the so-called momentum transfer of gdashing. You do not really have momentum that is being transferred. Basically, your sprint just takes time to pick up speed, and by dashing into your sprint, you get to skip some of that. There's also a period at the end of your dash where your fuel gets stuck. See how it doesn't regen instantly? If I sprint, it regens as soon as my fingers come up off the keys. So basically what you're doing when you dash cancel into sprint, aka gdash, is that you're covering the bad part of your dash with the good part of your sprint, just as you're covering the bad part of your sprint with the good part of your dash. It's not really even like a momentum thing though. It's not like physics enabled or anything like that. It's just different animations that have different velocities attributed to each frame, and you're trying to get the good frames of each without the bad frames of either. The input might seem complex, but the reason why I made this video, or why I was motivated, was because I found a silly way to do it. You can actually spin out a dash by just flicking your mouse. You don't even have to lift your fingers off WASD, you can just spin out and cancel that way. So if you tap, hold, and spin out, see how I get my sprint? Try to gdash without ever taking your finger off the WASD keys, and you'll be like, oh, I understand the timing of the shift key for a gdash. And then when you want to do it without spinning out, all you got to do is lift your finger off W for a moment. And by lifting your finger off W, you stop the dash. And then by putting it back down on W, so long as the shift key is already held, it turns into a gdash. But why else is this relevant? Well, interestingly, see how I can like bump into this wall and I stand upright? Boing. Your velocity is the only thing that controls your sprint height. So you can say gdash like this. See how I like bob up and down? It takes a moment to remember that I'm going fast, but like you instantly sink down like this. I mean, you instantly zoop, just crouch, as opposed to if I do this, it takes a while. See, that is just obviously slower. It's so obviously slower. Whereas if you do this, zoop, 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 you can do it like 3 times. So like honestly, you can swing like that probably. I don't know. I'm not advising you to do that. I'm just saying that you should be able to visualize your velocity very clearly with kampfer, because there's no speedometer in this game except for when you're on kampfer. And that's the lesson.